You know, last time we asked a question, will India go to war with Pakistan over water? Well, turns out water isn't the spark, it's terrorism, just like World War I. But this time it wasn't just accusations. India had names, coordinates, and a former Pakistani Special Forces operative linked to the attack. And as you might have guessed, India responded with fire. And what started as a brutal terrorist attack in the hills of Pahalgam quickly turned into airstrikes, diplomatic shutdowns, missile launches, and a level of tension the world hasn't seen between these brothers since the Pulwama attack crisis of 2018. On April 22, 2025, the town of Pahalgam came under a deadly terrorist attack, killing 26 Indians and foreign tourists. The group responsible was identified as the Islamic Resistance Front, with known connections to Lashkar-e-Taiba, a Pakistani-based terrorist organization. But India's investigation revealed something far more serious. The alleged coordination by Hashim Musa, a former Pakistani Special Forces operative. That discovery changed everything. India blamed Pakistan not just for harboring militants, but for direct military involvement in the attack. The Indian government suspended the Indus Waters Treaty, one of the last working agreements between the two nations. They then closed the Attari-Wagah border, expelled Pakistani diplomats, and moved its northern military commands to high alert. And soon after, declared Operation Sindoor, a coordinated military response against Pakistan. India launched precision missile and drone strikes targeting terrorist camps, first in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, then in locations much deeper into main Pakistan. Cities like Bahawalpur and Muridkut, both long suspected of harboring extremist infrastructure. The strikes were fast, precise, and executed with both air power and drones. Indian media declared it a success, but across the border, the story was very different. Pakistan claimed the operation killed 31 civilians, including women and children. Several mosques and residential buildings were also destroyed. Pakistan considered this as an act of aggression, and they were ready to respond. They didn't even wait for the missiles to cool down. They suspended the Shimla Agreement, halted all trade with India, closed their airspace, expelled Indian officials from Islamabad. Within hours, Pakistani drones and missiles struck Indian military installations and fuel depots in Jammu, Punjab, and other northern sectors. Pakistan claimed to have shut down 5 Indian fighter jets, which include 3 French-made Rafale jets, 1 Russian-designed MiG-29, and 1 Su-30 MKI. Pakistan Army stated that these jets were intercepted using Chinese-made J-10C fighter aircraft. But however, as of now, there are no publicly available satellite images or independently verified visual evidence confirming these specific shootdowns. Over the next 10 days, more than 100 people were killed, and tens of thousands of civilians were displaced from villages along the line of control. Then out of nowhere, on May 10th, a ceasefire. India said the ceasefire came from direct military-to-military talks. Pakistan said the US helped mediate, with President Trump jumping in like a referee in a UFC match. So who really stopped the fight? Doesn't matter. The important thing is, nobody pressed the nuclear button. But don't be fooled. The situation is still dangerously fragile. Both sides are accusing each other of violating the ceasefire within days of agreeing to it. And beneath all this is the same old issue that just won't go away: Kashmir. India demands the dismantling of all terror networks operating across the border. Pakistan accuses India of using counter-terrorism as a cover for political oppression in Kashmir. And the rest of the world is just hoping that these two don't blow up the neighborhood. But as history shows, peace in this region rarely lasts because at this point, it's less of a conflict and more of a repetitive cycle of cat and dogs fighting. It's always the same cycle between these two neighbors. Tension builds, then something explodes. A few threats fly, and then they have a ceasefire, and we wait for the next round. Because unless both sides face the root causes, militancy, mistrust, and that unresolved borders, the India-Pakistan story will just keep repeating itself over and over again.